But I made it so much worse for myself because I've jumped bond. Now I've gone across state lines. I've done so much more that exacerbated the situation. So
first off, your evasive skills are impressive. Like you should, there should be like some movie on that. That's insane evasive skills. But I wonder, I do wonder, and I can't really put myself in this mindset. I'm not really sure how to get there, but because I'm literally thinking about how incredible your evasive skills are, but in order for that to happen, there needs to be a very high desire to get away. Like you should have given up 100%. 18 times and just said like, all right, you got me, but you refused to let that happen. I mentioned like there should be a movie about that, but like sometimes in movies you wonder why the main character or the two characters just don't talk to each other. Why don't they just tell, hey, this is all I'm worried about? Or like, hey, this is it, and then the whole movie would be solved, right? Which is why they don't do it in movies. But it kind of reminds me of this, is like, what was the fear? Where was the mistrust where you could potentially like just say something to an officer or say so? Is it because you didn't have that true connection with friends? You didn't have a true connection with your mother, it sounded like. And so maybe there was this like, you just could not trust anyone. What caused that absolute need to evade?
It's fear. The bottom line is fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of not being able to trust what they're saying is accurate. I do remember at one of the times I spoke with my mom on the phone, and she said, Wendy, if you just turn yourself in, they say they'll work with you. They said that it won't be bad. Just turn yourself in. And this is way before I had even gotten caught the first time.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, they'll say anything. You know, again, too much TV.
Right.
They'll say anything just to get me to turn myself in. They don't mean that.
Yeah, which is probably true to some degree. Yeah. But at the same time, like you're going to such instant, like you just breeze through it, but you're like,
the whole situation so much worse.
And you breeze through it, but you're like, I just, spent the night in an abandoned car, and then you move on, right, with your story. That in itself, like just that night, I can imagine, like if we just slowed down and talked,
there's so much detail in here. Like I could talk about this for days because that one incident, like you said, in the abandoned car it was dark. I couldn't see inside of it. The door just was open, and I was trying to hide, so I got in it. When I slept on and off a little bit, but when I woke up the next morning and I looked, and I'm surrounded by spiders and leaves and just I got out of there so fast. And this is something that I think about so often, is when I said I hitchhiked to the other person's house, and it was two men that stopped in a pickup truck, and the one man got out and says, you can slide in. And in that moment I'm thinking, I shouldn't do this is not safe. But again, I was desperate. I was hot. I was exhausted. I got in, so I'm now sitting in between two men, and it's going through my mind like, am I even going to get out of here? Yeah. And they took me where I needed to go, and he got out, and I got out.
And we still have more to this story about New York and some things that you went through there. But if you could, like today, talk to yourself back then, would you tell yourself to keep running, or would you say turn yourself in?
No. Things would have been so different had I never left, just faced the music from day one. I probably wouldn't have gotten in any trouble. The whole thing got really blown out of proportion because they thought that this was like a carjacking ring. So this is why they were going so hard. Yeah. But it was just a couple teenagers that had stolen a couple cars, and it wasn't what they thought it was. But I made it so much worse for myself because I've jumped bond. Now I've gone across state lines. I've done so much more that exacerbated the situation. So
also, if your story would have been a lot shorter, you wouldn't be the same person you are today. So it's weird that like you go through all this pain and trouble, and it just molds you to the success that you've had today and the mindset that you have today.